FM, AM 1160. Sunny day. AccuWeather says it's going to be like this all day. High temperature 72 degrees, clear and 48 tonight. Then through the weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, start of a Labor Day weekend, you'll have temperatures in the lower 70s with a lot of sunshine. And it's 54 in downtown Indiana right now. He is State Representative Jim Struzzi joining us in the studio this morning, and our conversation brought to you by Marcus & Mack, a law firm representing injured people. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Todd. Thanks for having me.
Good to have you with us here today. You, Senator Pittman, Superintendent Weitzel from Homer Center School District, among those yesterday, attending the hearing and talking with the commissioners in the Independent Regulatory Review Commission about the Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative, which took another step forward to becoming a reality yesterday, much to the distress of, communities like ours. Afterwards, you were quite angry about what was going on and the way that whole thing unfolded.
I just found the whole process completely farcical, to be honest, Todd. Even from the beginning, when the DEP had all of these virtual hearings, now we conduct a hearing in the middle of a hurricane where some people couldn't even make it to testify. And then to hear the testimony yesterday from the Department of Environmental Protection and to hear the comments from some of the commissioners, it is extremely frustrating. I am extremely angry to see that this is continuing to move forward despite so much compelling opposition, so many compelling facts that say that RGGI is going to be horrible for Pennsylvania. I was simply appalled by some of the comments that were made yesterday, and yet here we are with a 3-2 vote in favor of moving the Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative forward. I am simply I am dumbfounded as to why this is continuing to move forward when so many people are saying it's going to be bad for Indiana County and for this entire Commonwealth for decades. We're going to lose our energy production. It's going to go to Ohio and West Virginia. Those are the facts. We know that. We've heard that. It's already happening with this continued threat of RGGI and really the severance tax on the natural gas industry. This governor and his initiatives and this Department of Environmental Protection that are basically his minions moving forward. I don't understand why they continue to do this when it's going to be so detrimental to our Commonwealth.
You said yesterday that DEP actually misrepresented the truth in the hearing with some of the comments that they made.
They did. I was shocked, and I know that my colleagues in the room, we looked at each other. They were given the opportunity to go first, and I think they had some attorneys that were speaking on their behalf, and they basically said to discount our testimony because we were misrepresenting the facts about the job losses, about the impacts on our communities that we represent. And here we are again with the DEP and the governor and no one from his administration even setting foot in Indiana County to see what happens here, to look at our residents and say to them, we're taking your jobs. And that was part of my testimony yesterday. And they're telling us that we're misrepresenting the facts when we already know that we are seeing job losses. You know, the Cheswick plant already announced that they're going to be shutting down because of RGGI, and they're saying we're misrepresenting the job losses. I was, and you can tell, I was very emotional, and I'm very angry that they continue to move this forward and basically discount the role that the General Assembly plays, the discount that we speak for the people that we represent, and really they have blinders on through this whole process. I'm really frustrated.
Some of the comments heading up to the meeting and at the commission yesterday, one of the comments I was struck by, one commissioner saying to Senator Pittman, they're going to close anyway. So basically implying they're going to close anyway, there's nothing you can do about it, so let's move forward from here.
Yeah, I heard that, and I thought that Senator Pittman handled that question very well. And the fact is, people have been saying that for a long time now. And yet here we are. Our coal-fired electric generation plants are still powering the grid. They are going stronger than ever right now. I even heard a report that they can't get enough coal because the demand is so great right now. They are locked into the grid, and they are continuing to generate electricity for this country. And to say that they're going to close anyway, so let's basically push them down the stairs, is ridiculous to me. I don't understand that mindset, and I really think it's a lot of hyperbole and rhetoric from the people that are in favor of implementing RGGI because they don't understand even how electric generation works. And to say that, and I'm not against renewables and green energy. I think we need a balanced energy portfolio. But to say that we can survive as a state and as a nation simply on renewables is dangerous, in my opinion. We saw what happened in Texas. We need our fossil fuels. We need our baseline energy production in this country, or we're going to weaken ourselves.
The way you characterized it to me a couple of moments ago was DEP basically is saying to Indiana County, get over it.
Yeah, they are. Even the comments of the one commissioner during the right before the vote, he said coal communities are resilient. In other words, oh, you'll be fine. That doesn't work. That doesn't work when you're talking about tax dollars. As you said, the superintendent was there yesterday giving testimony. Mark Hilliard from the chamber was there giving testimony. That doesn't work in reality. Just to say you'll get over, you're resilient, you'll bounce back. That to me, that's just despicable. To make comments like that when you're talking about people's livelihoods, when you're talking about the lifeblood of our community, when you're talking about the backbone of our economy here in all of Western Pennsylvania, in this Commonwealth, we are an energy exporter. We create energy, and they're going to take that away from us. And to me, that makes no sense. Why threaten one of the greatest industries that you have? I just cannot fathom their mindset. And there's really not even any compelling evidence to show that this is going to have any impact on climate change. Because as long as China and other countries are producing these emissions and our energy production goes to other states, we're not even going to make a scratch on the surface of any change, yet we know we're going to damage our economy for years to come. And I just, as an elected official representing the people of Indiana County, I cannot stand for that.
So for the people who are obviously in the same boat with you,
Mm-hmm.
which includes most of Indiana County, they're saying to themselves, what can we do? Is there any way to slow this down? Is there any way to get it to the next administration and hope that we have better fortunes there? Or is there any way that the courts can step in? What do you see as the next few steps in the process?
Well, today the House Energy and Environmental Resources Committee is going to pass a resolution basically saying that the General Assembly does not approve of the Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative. I'm sure that will come out of committee today, and we will vote on it when we get back into session. My bill that says that the General Assembly must approve RGGI is out of committee. I assume that we're going to run that here this fall. Senator Pittman's bill has passed out of the Senate and is in the House. So we have a lot of options yet. We're not going to give up this fight. And, of course, I'm sure there will be legal methods to try and stop this as well. It's simply to be blunt, I think the governor is just looking for a feather in his cap. And a tax on one industry to benefit other industries. There are so many things that are wrong with that mindset. First of all, the governor and the administration don't have the power to make a tax, and that's what this is. Yet they continue to move forward. I think people are going to challenge the constitutionality of this effort without General Assembly approval. And I remind everyone that Pennsylvania, if we enter into RGGI, would be the only state to enter into RGGI without General Assembly approval. And that's just not how our country, our state are supposed to work. We're elected to represent the voice of the people. And if you're circumventing that, then you're ignoring the will of Pennsylvania residents.
That all being the case, there are many people who would be able to say, and rightfully so, that maybe the next administration comes in and it is of the same mindset as Governor Wolf. And therefore, if you're pinning your hopes on what happens down the road, then you could still be frustrated and still end up having lost the RGGI debate before it ever really got going. So is the Pennsylvania legislative structure or governance structure able to reverse basically? I guess what I'm saying is with the emergency declaration and the Constitutional Convention and the way that sort of puts some skids on the governor moving forward unilaterally, is there some other avenue that we could do the same thing with RGGI, or somebody could do the same thing with RGGI?
I think it would follow the same process, unfortunately, Todd. If whoever is in that seat 2 years from now wants to continue to move forward with this, then we're going to have to continue to fight it through every mechanism that we have been trying to use. Unfortunately, I think that unless this new governor realizes that they don't have the power and shouldn't try to force their will on the General Assembly or the people of Pennsylvania without first allowing us to vote on these types of huge policy issues, it's still going to be the same battle.
But the timing of it all is such that it could be a moot point by then.
It could be, yeah.
Wolf could carry the day.
And that would be something that we would like to see happen. Last year, the Independent Regulatory Review Commission voted to delay implementation of RGGI for 1 year. And the DEP and the governor simply ignored that recommendation, just like they ignored the recommendation of several other DEP advisory committees not to move forward with Reggie. They reversed that obviously yesterday. But again, so many trade unions, so many business groups, so many people submitted testimony yesterday saying this is going to be bad for Pennsylvania. And again, you scratch your head and you say, why are they doing this? Why are they continuing to move forward? And there really is no good answer.
State Representative Jim Struzzi is with us here today. And should Reggie become Pennsylvania's manner of being and the way that we move forward as a member of this compact, by the time you get to reversing it, it could be too late. The damage has already started.
Absolutely.
And power plants are going to close probably pretty rapidly rather than pay the carbon tax.
Yeah, you've seen that. Look at the natural gas industry with the continued threat of a severance tax. These business-minded people aren't going to sit here and continue to invest capital improvements into our power plants. They're not going to build new power plants with the constant threat of taxes. You should not be taxing successful businesses. We should be bolstering them. We should be incentivizing them. They're already meeting many of the clean air standards and goals that were set years ago, and yet here we are threatening them with another tax. They're going to go somewhere else. You're already seeing it. You're seeing that migration. Look at our demographics. Look at the census numbers. People in business don't want to be smothered with excessive regulations, with excessive taxes. We should be growing businesses. We should be pumping these industries up. We should be supporting all energy sources. As I said earlier, we should have a balanced energy portfolio. And in my opinion, the DEP should not be setting this policy because it is too big. It's more than just about environmental protection. It's about our economy. It's about jobs. It's about families. It's about Pennsylvania's future. They really should be separating this policy decision from the DEP because it is simply too big for an agency like the Department of Environmental Protection to be setting because it impacts all of our lives in so many different ways. A
governor's powers and the powers that are vested in him through his administration, because with the mask mandate, the governor citing the health department, even though that is under his control as part of his administration, and not knowing, not having heard from you anything about the governor's decision this week to implement the mask mandate, indoor mask mandate on schools. I want to ask this question this way. Are the governor's powers too strong for things such as that, to make unilateral decisions that are going to force people to really change the way that they are going about their business? Last week or so, he asked the legislature to mandate indoor masks. Legislature said, no, we're not going to do that. Governor said, well, then I'm doing it.
Well, I think the residents of Pennsylvania spoke loud and clear when they voted for those constitutional amendments to limit his powers of during a disaster declaration. I think, again, as many of these decisions have been made throughout this pandemic, that it should be made at the local level because the case numbers aren't the same across this Commonwealth. There are some counties that still have 0 new cases, and yet now they're going to be subject to a mask mandate. These decisions should be made at the local level because our school administrators, our local health professionals know what's best for our community. And to put out a blanket order like that covering the entire state is simply unfair to those communities that don't have new cases. I understand the concern, and he does have that power through the Disease Prevention Act, through the Secretary of Health, and I think he basically used that as a way to do this. But the stuff last week with him reaching out to the legislature is politics, pure and simple. And I don't want to operate that way. I don't operate that way. If you have a reason to do it, then explain that and be upfront and be transparent about it. Don't play politics because that's not what people want to hear anymore. People are really fed up with this governor, and I'm hearing it in my office. I'm hearing it, in calls and emails from people who say, let us make our own decisions about our health. Let us make our own decisions about our children's health and give us back our freedom.
Whether it's the mask mandate for schools or Reggie, what are you hearing from your Democratic colleagues about the governor and the way that he is operating? Are they okay with it?
I don't think they are. I circulated a letter that we submitted as part of the testimony yesterday to the Independent Regulatory Review Commission. I believe we had 67 signatures, bipartisan signatures, saying that Reggie was bad for Pennsylvania. I've heard from a number of my colleagues that don't agree with this process, even in written emails that said, I'm not supporting this because I don't think that the governor should be doing this unilaterally. This is from our Democratic colleagues. Representative Pam Snyder testified against Reggie yesterday during the hearing. So it is not a partisan issue. It is an issue because really, no matter where you are in this Commonwealth, they realize the impacts Reggie is going to have. Not just on our coal communities, not just on our coal-fired electric generation plants, but on jobs everywhere, because electric costs are going to increase. That's going to impact manufacturing, obviously. And so even if you don't have any fingers in the energy industry in the area that you represent, you're hearing it from your trade unions. You're hearing it from your businesses that this is bad for Pennsylvania. So I have colleagues reaching out from both sides of the aisle saying, what can I do to help?
Do you believe that either your legislation or Senator Pittman's could continue to build momentum toward a veto-proof majority?
Absolutely. I believe they voted that way in the Senate when it came to the House. When we get back here in a few weeks into regular session, hopefully sooner than that, I'm hoping that we push both these bills to the governor. And if he vetoes them, I do. We were close last time, Todd, to having a veto-proof majority, and I think that we will have it this time.
Well, that's going to be an interesting thing to watch, and how quickly the schedule. Again, I mentioned timing earlier. How quickly the schedule comes together to either put the stop to this, or early in 2022, we're a member of Reggie.
And unfortunately, that may be too late. I am really concerned for our communities here in Indiana County and the job losses that will occur, the migration to Ohio and West Virginia. And those jobs are families, and families are going to leave. They're going to go to other states because they're going to go where the employment is. And this promise of these new jobs they're going to create is simply not true. They're not going to be the same kind of jobs. They're not going to pay the family-sustaining wages that the jobs we have here in Indiana County are paying right now, those in the energy industry. It's simply a pipe dream. And when those businesses shut down, they're not even going to have the revenue that they're claiming they're going to have. And they want to spread that across this entire Commonwealth, environmental justice communities. That's not just Indiana County. And I mean, it's everywhere. It's in the cities. And they're saying now it's going to be about $100 million they think they're going to generate. How far do you think that's going to go to really replace these family-sustaining jobs?
Senator Pittman pointing out yesterday in his testimony, and you have said in the past as well, that if you're relying upon the carbon tax to fund the job-changing programs, but then the power plants close, there is no money from the carbon tax.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a lose-lose formula.
It's not a good plan, but that battle continues to be fought over, and it was basically Indiana County got knocked down yesterday and needs to get back up.
It hurt. It really hurt to see that. It really hurt to hear those comments. The callousness, and I think I said this in my written statement. The callousness of the DEP is simply dismiss the concerns, to simply dismiss the people that work in the energy industry, to just say, oh, you'll bounce back, oh, you'll find other jobs. I mean, that's disheartening, and it really it shows me how out of touch they are with what's really happening in this Commonwealth.
And I know that you and Senator Pittman have both decried the fact that they won't come here.
No,
they will not come here and speak to the people.
They have not been here, and they claim that they have talked to us. They've never talked to me. I have not talked directly with the governor's administration. I have not talked directly with the DEP, other than when I had the opportunity to question them during the appropriations hearings or hearings like yesterday. And again, they still have no answer. I asked the question yesterday, or made this statement. No one has said what will the negative impact on our economy be from Reggie. They don't have that number. The Independent Fiscal Office doesn't have that number. The Department of the Budget doesn't have that number because they don't know.
He is State Representative Jim Struzzi. We're out of time here this morning. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me, Todd.
It is the voice of Indiana County, WCCS.